Talmor, Shishin Marachi. Talmor is my home. My family have worked the land for generations. My gran says the island does not belong to us, but we belong to the island. And we must be ready, for a great evil is coming, and death follows with it.
Listen and subscribe to the latest season of Undertow, The Harrowing, a Storyglass production presented by Realm, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Alexis Ohanian. You may know me as one of the co-founders of Reddit, but more recently, a large part of my identity is being a father to my wonderful daughters. In my podcast, Business Dad, I hope to open the conversation about working parents a bit. You'll get to hear from a wide range of business dads, from Rainn Wilson and Guy Raz to Todd Carmichael and Shane Battier, to find out how they balance being a dad with a successful career. Business Dad is available now, so be sure to listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello world, and welcome back to another episode of Thanks for Coming In. I'm your host, Jillian Clare. For those of you tuning in for the first time, this is the show where I speak to fellow actors about their journey and, most importantly, the ridiculous auditions along the way. It has proven to be a very, very enlightening process. I gotta say, these audition stories that some people have are, you just don't expect them. You just don't see it coming. And yet, they happen, and we love it. Today on the show, we have Rana Roy. You know her best from Rami, The Blacklist. She's been on a bunch of series. She was also on tour with Rihanna in the United Kingdom at one point, and now she's on Gossip Girl. So here is my conversation with the multi-talented Rana Roy. Welcome to the show, Miss Rana Roy.
Thank you.
How are you on this fine day?
I'm great. I mean, as you can tell, I've just come from the gym and I've been running around like a crazy person. And it's so hot in New York. You know, it's just like all the things are happening today.
Oh man, so you're out in New York.
My best, yes, in New York.
I hear it's been very humid, and also you guys had that storm recently. Like, it's just been a mess over there.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad. It was a lot of water. I mean, rain. Clearly, my brain isn't working today, but this is what you're gonna get from me.
I love it.
It was a lot of rain, and now it's just so extremely hot and a lot of sweat now. So just a lot of water all around.
Yeah. When did you move to New York?
I moved, I think 10 years ago.
Wow.
But it doesn't feel like that because I've hardly been here. So I really say it's 3 years, but it's been 10 years.
Where'd you move from? What brought you to New York?
Well, I was in LA. I grew up in Dubai. I went to London, went back to Dubai, and then I took a holiday in LA and signed with a management out there. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm just going to stay here for a bit and see. And then 3 years later, I was training and trying to do loads of classes, and I found a conservatory here in New York that brought me over here. I actually watched a play that Robin Williams was in, Bengal Tiger at the Baghdad Zoo, when I was on holiday here. And I was like, I was just blown away by it. And there was also a lot of people who looked like me on stage. And I was like, this is what I want to do. And if I want to do that, I have to come and train here in New York. And once I was here, I just fell in love with it. I was like, I never want to go back anywhere else. I just want to be here.
Oh, you had the New York love story.
Yeah, definitely. And I came with a broken heart. I was going through a breakup.
Oh, no.
It was the whole thing. And then I was like, the cliche. I had it all.
Yeah, you were living the real life rom-com of New York City.
I was. I definitely did.
So tell me a little bit about yourself, because obviously I want to get into what you're working on now, because you're working on some amazing shows. But tell me how you got into acting. What made you want to be an entertainer? Did you know from an early age, or was it something you discovered?
I have a very mixed background, and I grew up in Dubai. My father is Indian, my mother is Egyptian and Nubian and Muslim.
Wow.
And I was very much, you know, everyone was like, "Oh, you'll be a lawyer or a vet," because I loved animals. So they had like this idea of what I would be, and that was the path. And even in the schools there, you don't really get a lot of the arts there, and if it's very minimal, it's not encouraged as an actual profession. So I never thought it was a possibility in any way. Also, I sucked as an actor in my drama class. I was like, this is obviously not for me. I'm so bad. And so I never ever thought that. But I was really shy as a kid, and I had this incredible dance teacher that came into my life. And so I started dancing, and that just kind of became my social life and became like everything for me. And I started a little late for dances, but by the time I was 13, I was performing professionally in the Middle East and traveling around.
Wow.
When I was 15, I auditioned for this one school that I really liked in England that was a dance school, and I got in. And I had a bet with my dad, you know, and he let me go at 16 years old alone, living in
That's
London.
remarkable.
Yeah, going to dance school. And, you know, it was a big controversy in my family, and they kind of come full circle because they weren't supportive of the arts. And in from then up until now, you know, they're my biggest supporters, but they were not in the beginning. And it was just really cool to see, because I was like, okay, they didn't understand it, they were scared for so many reasons, so they would put it down in certain ways. But then as I started, and it was really hard for a lot of years, you know, it wasn't like I was, you know,
I'm
it wasn't
sure.
it wasn't a sure thing. It still isn't. It's never going to be, you know. So
Yeah.
I think that it was hard, but as they started to see that I was working more, it just became more real to them, and then they started to accept it. But it took many years. So I was a dancer first. I went to dance school. Then I started performing professionally in England. I was spotted in a dance class. I was then taken onto a show in the BBC, and then we
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know what I was doing, by the way. I was just got plopped into this show, and I was like, I don't know. I'm just saying yes, I guess. And from that, I got it was like a talent competition type show, and
Okay.
I got put into a group, and we became a pop group, and we had a record deal.
What?
And we toured with Rihanna around the UK on her
What?
umbrella tour many years ago. This is a whole nother life. I was like, I don't even feel like I lived that life, but I did apparently. And then from there, the same person who actually spotted me in a dance class, she was kind of like my entertainment mother. But she really took me under her wing, and she's very, very, she's done so many things for the arts in England. Her name's Arlene Phillips, and she created this TV show that was, you know, they were looking for 6 people who they wanted to create this show around, and it was based around a performing arts school in England, and it was a series. And they were casting it for, I think, 2 years. I think everybody under the sun at that time who was any kind of performer auditioned for it. And I went in, and I was so bad. I honestly was joking, and they were filming the making of, and I was like, what have I got myself? Why am I doing this to myself? Like, what have I walked into? I'd gotten off a flight from Miami, and I walked like way too late into the audition. And and then they asked me to sing, and I had a phobia of singing in front of people, even though that's kind of what I was doing. So scary.
Yeah. Wait, you had a phobia of singing in front of people, and you were opening for Rihanna.
Yeah, no.
What?
Because I was like, I'm a dancer in this group. Okay, I'm just gonna like say a few things in the background. But they made me sing, and I was like, huh. And so nothing came out. It was terrible. It was terrible. And then they were like, where can we? And then they knew me as a dancer, and apparently I was like fine at acting, but I didn't know what I was doing. And
oh my God,
because they wanted someone who could do all 3. And then they're like, where can we fit you in the singing? Maybe you can rap? I was like, I mean, I can try, but I don't know if that's, I mean, yeah, I can try. the worst rapper right here that you could ever imagine.
Oh
So
my God.
it went into the next day, and the next day I'm like, I wrote down like scribbles of the like TLC waterfall rap in there.
Oh no.
I wrote it
Oh,
down
no.
because I was working like the night before. I didn't have time to learn something, so I'm like coming in with this scrumpled up piece of paper that's not even like nicely folded, and I'm like trying to do this rap. It was just bad. The camera guy was shaking from laughing. Like the director was on the floor. I was like, yeah, guys, I think I should stop and just like leave right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But somehow I booked this job, and
Oh my God.
I think even in the dance call, like I got cramps and I couldn't finish the dance. Like everything that could go wrong went wrong, and like they had incredible people audition for it. And I was listening.
Wow.
Yeah, this is not. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm the comedy, like in X Factor or what do you have here? American Idol and things
American
like that.
Idol, yeah.
Like the embarrassing people.
Yeah.
That was me. I was like, they're going to make a fool of me on this making of, but I booked it, and that was my introduction to acting. So I spent a year on this show in the first season, literally going, oh, when are they going to realize they made the biggest mistake of their life? Because I have no idea what I'm doing, but I had to learn everything on camera, and then that's why when I came to America after. I was like, I really want to train, because I trained as a dancer, and I was like, I feel like I really need the training behind me to support me, because I now only know how to play one character from this show, but, and so that was my journey here.
Wow.
To acting. I never, ever, ever thought it was going to be something I did.
Wow. What a wild roller coaster that just was. I mean, my Lord.
I know. I was like,
that was a lot.
Short answers. I'm sorry. That's not the way my life works.
I love it. I mean, it makes it interesting. Clearly, I mean, they must have admired your tenacity. They must have been like, well, she keeps showing up, and that counts for something.
I think they made me the comedy character, to be honest.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, she can make a fool of herself. That's great. Let's just put that on her character.
Oh my gosh. All right, so let's fast forward now. So you came to America, you went to LA, then you ended up in New York. And what was like the first TV show that you did in America that was like your moment of like, oh, I can really make it here?
Oh, I can really make it here. I feel like I'm still feeling
right. I mean, we always feel like we're still climbing the ladder. I mean, there's always more to do. But like, what was like that moment where you were like on a set in New York and you're like, oh wow, this is it. Like this is gonna be the thing that I'm gonna remember as like the moment where my career started to change.
Okay, so I'd been working for quite a bit before this, but I think, oh wait, wasn't it? I think the most impactful, because maybe I'd had those moments before in different shows that I'd done, but the most impactful where I cried when I got the job was it was my first series regular job here, and it was a show called Queen America that was on Facebook, and I was offered a test for another show, and then they wanted to test me, and they actually ended up offering it to me because I would have gone with the other test, but I really wanted this show, and I just loved, there was like a lot of women involved in it, and I was like, this is the path, and like this is where I want to go in my career, and this is, I didn't want to just do it for the sake of doing acting. I was like, right. I don't want to just take a job for the money. Of course I want the money too, but
right. I need to live.
yeah. But I didn't want to take a job. And when that came into my lap, I was like, this is the kind of thing I want to do. And, like I'd been doing a lot. I was like recurring a lot on a lot of shows. And I was like, when is this going to just shift into, and so when that came, I just remember being anxious for a week of just pure anxiety, never leaving my body, and just hoping that it would happen. And then when I got the offer, I burst into tears on my friend's bed, and and she cried with me. I was like, thanks, thank you,
thank you. That's a good friend.
Yeah, she was a great friend. She is a great friend. But I think that made a big impact on me. And I was like, okay, this is not all for nothing. It's not changing. It's like, it's moving, you know?
Right.
And I really appreciate the job that it was. I just loved the script so much. And so it was something that I was really excited about for a lot of reasons.
You can shop from anywhere doing pretty much anything. You might shop while working, eating, or even listening to this podcast. And however you shop, we all know and love the thrill of the hunt. But do you also know how to get the thrill of the best deals? Because Rakuten shoppers do. With Rakuten, they get the deals they love with the most savings and cash back. And you can get it too. Start getting cash back at your favorite stores like Sephora, Nike, and even Expedia if you're looking to get some travel in. And getting cash back doesn't mean you have to miss out on sales, because those can just be stacked right on top. It's easy to use and based on a simple idea. Stores pay Rakuten for sending them shoppers, and Rakuten shares the money with you as cash back through PayPal or check. Download the free Rakuten app and never miss a deal. Or go to Rakuten.com to start getting the most bang for your buck. That's Rakuten. As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But we also sell merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell and grow at every stage of your business, from the launch your online shop stage all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. They have an all-in-one e-commerce platform and in-person POS system, so wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. With the internet's best converting checkout, 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms, Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers. Shopify has allowed us to share something tangible with the podcast community we've built here, selling our beanies, sweatshirts, and mugs to fans of our shows without taking up too much time from all the other work we do to bring you even more great content. And it's not just us. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US. Shopify is also the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/REALM now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/realm.
You bring up an interesting point, which is like, it's hard to make that leap when you've been a reoccurring or a guest star for so long on shows.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard to make that leap, especially these days when TV series are filled with Oscar-winning actors and feature film actors. It's so much harder for TV actors to then make that jump to a series regular, because so many more times they'll hire, we just saw Kate Winslet. Whoever thought that you'd see Kate Winslet on an HBO show? Like, crazy. So it's interesting that you brought that up, that it felt like a struggle to be like, when am I going to be able to break through that glass ceiling and get to that series regular role?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a constant struggle, because it's even more and more that's happening, every day. More recently, so it's even harder, I think. But it doesn't mean it can't happen,
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like so much of this industry is persistence, and obviously working on your talent and all the other things that come with it, but so much of it is persistence. And I see the most incredible actors just kind of not being able to continue doing it, and not, and like, moving on, and fair to them, but I'm like, oh, if you just kept going a little longer, I think it just takes time.
Yeah, I mean, acting is definitely one of the professions where it's like, you got to be looking at the long game. You can't be looking at what's next month, what's even next year. It has to be like, if I'm still in this in 10 years, then I know that I'm kicking ass because I'm still doing it.
Yeah. And it's like, you really have to love it.
Yeah, you have to love it.
It doesn't make it none of this is worth it if you don't, and I
Yeah.
think people fall out of love with it because it becomes such a job, and
Mm-hmm.
we're, I always think that yes, we get paid very, very well when you make it to that place of series
Right.
regular and whatever. And people are always like, wow, you get paid, they're always shocked by it. I'm like, but if you average it out between all of
Mm-hmm.
the free auditions that we do, it's not, like the amount of time and work and energy and anxiety,
Yeah.
when you get that audition and having to like rush back from wherever you're doing to make sure you get it in on time. And now it's like everything's becoming you tape all your auditions now or your
Right.
Zoom or whatever. You're having to like edit it and you're having to do all of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
You're one person crew now,
that you're
which
doing
is a whole mess.
a lot of
Well, and
work.
there's also like the time it takes to even prep the audition. Forget even filming
Yeah.
it or getting to the audition or being in the room. The prep time itself, it's like you could spend like upwards of a whole ass day or 2 days or 3 days on one character because
Yeah.
you're trying to build it out so that it's solid. And that takes so much time, so much effort, so much work, and it's mentally draining. And so you've done all of this stuff for free for like years.
Yes.
You deserve the paycheck.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, I'll take it, please.
Tell me a little bit about Gossip Girl, which is your latest role, which had to have been exciting. I loved that show growing up. I thought it was the coolest show
Me
ever.
too. I know. I didn't know anything about the role or whatever when it came in. I was also testing for something at the time, and so I had to
Mm.
kind of and pick not knowing what this role was on Gossip Girl. But I was like, it's Gossip Girl, I'm doing it. That's obviously,
Yeah.
it was such a fun show to grow up with, and yeah, I really wanted to be involved. I was like, all right, I don't know what it is, but I'll sign up. um, yeah, and it was such a weird thing too because I think I auditioned. Yeah, I think it was the day before everything shut down during COVID,
Wow.
and then hadn't heard, and then I just got a call being like, "Oh, you're being offered this role, but we don't know anything about it." And
Amazing.
yeah, weird and great experience.
I
To
mean, that is weird. How long did you have to prep that character before you were on set? I mean, did they give you ample time or was it like a here
I
you
mean, I
go?
read the script,
Yeah.
the first script. I didn't read anything else, only the first script. So I had like some answers, but I didn't even get to, I didn't even get a lot of information until after the first day of filming. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh shit.
Right. Yeah, because it was so busy and like, everyone there was so much to do in this. It was we have all these new protocols now with COVID and
Mhm.
so it's kind of manic and I was like, all right, I hope I'm doing it justice, and so I'm like finding out as we're filming basically, and
Wow.
yeah, I didn't know a lot, so that was different but exciting.
Yeah.
It was also cool to kind of discover it as I was reading it.
Mm.
I was like having the experience that probably people are having watching it from reading it, being like,
Right.
oh, we do this, okay. Like,
I mean,
no,
that kind of is the fun part of being on a series too, especially if you go into the next seasons is like every episode you're discovering something new about your character that you did not know before,
yeah, totally,
which
completely.
is just it's hysterical because then you go back to like season 1 you're like interesting that I made those choices because that
Yes,
would not work with the choices
I
that I've
know.
made in season
Sometimes
6.
I'm like, I wish they would trust us a little more.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I could make better choices if I knew where
I
I was
feel that.
going. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it's better not to know. So I get it. I
Yeah.
get why they do that sometimes, but
But
uh,
sometimes
I
a
like to.
heads up
I
would
would.
be nice. Well, on this show, we like to share audition stories. It can be, ones that got away, the big one that got away, or it can be sad stories, funny stories, basically anything, just the audition mayhem that we go through.
Yeah.
Do you have any stories you would like to share with our listeners?
Oh my goodness, I have so many. I'm trying to pick which one. so many awful, disastrous stories that makes me go, how did I ever do this? Like, how am I working? How did that happen? Not one good one.
Okay.
So no, I really can't pick. Hold on, let me think. I have a very quick one of something I didn't book, and I'm happy to tell you what it was. So I have this fear of singing in front of people.
Yes.
I've always had it, and I've been made to do it in my life for some reason. I was like, you're bringing into me exactly what I need to work on, and it's really confronting. Thank you very much, world. But I had an audition for Glee years ago,
Oh, wow.
and they wanted me to bring in sheet music, and I don't really know how to read sheet music, so I was like, okay. So I just came in with it, and the pianist started playing. So I think we did the scene, and then we were going into the song. The pianist started playing, and I literally didn't even. I was. It was completely the wrong note. Okay, so I gave him something that was totally different to how I was singing, and then I was like, oh, I don't know how to do this now. And then we just it was like not coming together, and clearly he was much more experienced than I was, so it was me who was wrong, and I couldn't get it together, and we were just laughing, all of us, and I was like, I don't think I got this one right, and he was like, no, but it's okay, I love how much you tried. I was like, yeah, I think I should stop trying because I don't think I have hope. And then I walked out. And it was great. It was so fun because I think that, like, you know, you can get so hurt by bad auditions. And I definitely have in the past. Like, oh, I was so bad. And like, why did I do this? And just hate it, putting everything on myself. And just to kind of have the experience of being like, you know what, I'm not a bad singer. I just can't sing in front of people in auditions like this. I can't do it. And don't take it so seriously, and don't hate myself for it, and we just had so much fun. I was like, well, they had a fun little laugh in their day.
Right.
And that was great. So that's a quick one. But then I had to do it for Broadway. I did a show on Broadway. And
oh, wow.
Well, I guess the audition story for that was really interesting too, because I'd never done theater professionally or anything. I trained it, but I'd never done it. And I'd been asking to do theater to my reps for years, and they're like, Rana, they're not going to take you seriously. Like, unless you had gone to like one of the bigger schools, like, or whatever, it's a little hard to get your foot in the door with that. I was like, but just try and get one audition, please. So this very specific role came along, and they got me the audition. I was like, oh my gosh, this is my moment. Nobody else is taking it away from me. I'm not giving them a choice but to pick anybody but me. Like, they're not going to have a choice. They're going to.
Love that.
So I asked every friend under the sun to help me work on it. And I was just like constantly working on the scenes as much as I could. I went in there, and I don't have a lot of confidence in auditions. I'm usually a terrible auditioner. And I went in, I did it, and I was like, so if you want me, just so you know you have callbacks next week with the director. I'm not going to be here, so you'd have to schedule it for this day. I don't know. It's like I was possessed by something.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's like I became possessed. And the casting director was like, oh yeah, no, we do want you to come in, blah, blah, blah. I was like, is this how it works? Do I just like brain power, like overconfidence to them?
Oh my God.
So then she called me in, and they made it work with the director, and I had my call back with him, and his name's Rupert Golden. He's so lovely and so incredible. And he just, was kind of sat back watching, and he asked me to do it a few times, some notes. And then he was like, Rana, have you, he's very British. He's like, have you ever done theatre before? I was like, no. And the producers were sitting there, and we all burst out laughing. And I was like, no, I've never done it. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And and just got really, I was like, no idea what I'm doing. So great, yeah. And then I walked out, and I knew they loved what I was doing. I knew there was like something about the character in me like clicking, But I left, and I was like, oh, wait, hold on. I just totally put myself down. It was like the complete opposite of what I'd done in the first one.
No.
And I was like, no, I was like very like happy and fun and whatever about it. But I was like, at the end of the day, I've done, which is not on my resume, like the arena tour that I've done, and like I've performed so much in huge
Mm-hmm.
audiences. Like I don't get stage fright, things like that. And I was like, he wouldn't even know that. How would he know that? Like, how would
Right.
he know that I have the experience to be able to do this, if I
Mm-hmm.
don't share that? And I just like fully put myself down without no letting him know I've done all these things that would, help
Right.
race. And so I was really disappointed with myself. And I kept thinking about it. I was like, I feel like I can just feel they want me, but I'm such a risk for them for
Yeah.
having never done theater and then to put me in a Broadway play. And I was like, but I have to have, like, this is my way into theater. I have to get this role. I also love it, And so, and I was flying to LA for a premiere for a show that I was on. So I couldn't, I like, that's why I had to do it on a certain day. And when I called my reps and I was like, guys, I'm really stressed out. I feel like I kind of screwed it up. And they're always like, Rana, you always say this, it's fine.
Yeah.
No, I really think like, I really just want to get in the room with them again and speak to them. And they're like, okay, it's fine. It's fine. They said they really liked you. It's fine. When I got off the plane, they were like, okay, so they do love you, but they are worried that you're a risk. So everything that I felt was correct,
Yeah.
And they were like, so they're going to have you read another scene and you're going to have to find a theater space to tape it in because they want to feel your voice. And you have to get it in by tomorrow. And I was also getting all the stuff prepped for the premiere the next day.
Oh my God.
And I had to find a space like this in LA and find people to help me, to read with and whatever. And then when I did it, I had this incredible coach out there who he was like, I just kept saying to him, I just like wish I could get in front of them to talk to them about what I had said. And like the fact that I have this experience that I think will help me, and to do this role and like not be as much of a risk as they say. And he was like, just tell them on camera.
Yeah, why not? Just do it.
I was like, oh, is that not weird? And he was like, I mean, maybe, and some people might hate it, but you never know. If that's how you feel, like if you want to communicate something, do it. So I did.
Yeah.
I was like, this is what I've done, blah, blah, blah. So if you like what I'm doing, I just want you to have the confidence that I will be able to like achieve it. And I will let you guys down. And then I booked it. So
see,
that was great. But I turned up to my first day of rehearsal and, they bring some sheet music to me and they're like, here's your song. It's a play. I was like, wait, what? And they're like, oh yeah, you've got a song in it. I was like, oh, I'm singing? Oh, with sheet music. Okay.
you're like, hold on. This is not what I agreed to.
After doing 111 performances, I think I've overcome the singing in front of people thing.
Yeah. God, I would hope.
Yeah.
That story is a great story for young performers who are listening to the show, because there is something in taking that risk and being like, yeah, you know what? FYI, I know how to do this. I am this person. Even if it doesn't say so, and you're just like, well, should I say that in a self-tape? Sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it's worth emailing the director, or sometimes it's worth doing something. I mean, one of the best stories is Kate Winslet sending a letter to James Cameron saying, I'm ready, and that being the exact reason why he did hire her for Titanic. So I mean, there's those things where it's like you can take things into control and do things to push yourself and to push your career forward, as long as you have that like confidence behind you saying like, I know that this is what I'm feeling and I know that I need to tell you this at this time.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to believe in yourself that way, and also to put yourself out there at the end of the day,
100%. Well, it has been a pleasure to talk to you. What's next for you? I read that you want to get into writing side, directing side. Is that right?
Yeah, during COVID, I wrote a short film that I'm literally finishing editing this week.
Amazing.
That I wrote and directed, and that's really the route I want to go down. I want to create stories that I feel like, have still yet to be told, and diversity and inclusion, and things that I've experienced from being so mixed and living in so many places that I feel like I have to offer. And making people like that feel seen, whether, it's storytelling, whether it's in front of the camera or behind. And I really enjoy being behind it too. And I was filming 3 shows when I was doing Gossip Girl. So
Wow.
those shows are also coming out, and I'm about to fly to Atlanta to do another show on ABC. So
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's been a fun year.
Awesome. I'd say sounds like a good year for Rana. How can people follow you on social media to keep up with all of your shows and everything happening?
I actually literally just forgot it as you were asking me, but
Yes,
my Instagram is I am Rana Roy, and that's really the only thing that I use. I'm pretty useless at all the social medias, but I try sometimes, and it's all over the place, like I am. And so that's really the only one I use. Sometimes I go on Facebook too. I have a page on there, and I do read everything. So, I can't always reply to everything, but I read it, and but the most updated thing I'd say is Instagram.
Okay,
that's it.
Good. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I am stoked to see everything that you're doing, and I can't wait for your short film. Please send it to me when it's out into the world, because I would love to watch it. And congratulations on everything. You're just kicking ass these days.
Much. Thank you.
Thank you again to Rana for coming on the show. Tune in next week. I will have Kevin Mambo on the show. He's been in the business forever. He's a fantastic actor. He has a brand new Netflix series called Hit and Run coming out soon that I'm so stoked to see. And great conversation with Kevin. Make sure to tune in next week. And if you're not already subscribed to the show now, make sure you click that subscribe button wherever it is that you're listening to my voice at this moment. You can also leave us some love, some stars, some words, and you can head on over to Twitter or Instagram or Facebook and talk to us. Let us know who you want to hear on the show, and check out some fun little graphics that we post, some exclusive videos from these episodes. And as always, thanks for coming in.
Nowadays, trends and news cycles change faster than we can blink. But there are some things that withstand the test of time. And if you're looking for a connection to something timeless, and maybe also a glimpse of life at a slower pace, I believe everyone can relate to the very human experiences explored in Jane Austen's novels. And that's where I come in. My name is Alison Larkin. I'm a writer, comedian, and narrator and host of the Jane Austen podcast with Alison Larkin. I spent a lot of my childhood in the part of England where Jane Austen lived and wrote, and now that I live in the States, nothing gives me a sense of homecoming quite like narrating her books. On this show, you'll listen to award-winning narration. I'll give myself a pat on the back for that. As well as conversations with actors, writers, and other fascinating people who all share a passionate love for Jane Austen. So please, join me as we embark on a wonderful journey through Jane Austen's work. Be sure to listen and subscribe to the Jane Austen podcast with Alison Larkin, wherever you get your podcasts.